Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to what I believe will be day 5 in palette week, where every single day for 7 straight days I am posting some sort of palette themed content, and I'm coming to you barefaced. Well, I have makeup on, but bare eyeshadowed today because we're going to be doing a palette bingo in today's video. First, I'm going to be sharing with you all of the unused eyeshadow palettes that are currently sitting in my collection from this year. Spoiler, I only have 15 eyeshadow palettes that I have not used at all. And some of my eyeshadow palettes, like a use is maybe I just reached into the palette for one shade. But this is definitely the lowest I've ever had, which just makes me so happy. I do currently have 156 eyeshadow palettes in my collection. That is including a couple of new palettes that literally just arrived like last night or the day before that I'm not including in my unused. After my palette collection and declutter, I believe I had 147-ish. I may have miscounted a little bit, but I currently have, after filling out my makeup inventory spreadsheet, 156 eyeshadow palettes in my collection and only 15, with the exception of like 4 or 5 new ones, so maybe 20, are sitting unused. I've come leaps and bounds from last year, but I thought it would be fun to quickly share those 15 palettes with you guys today and then do a palette bingo with like 5 or 6 of the palettes so that we are down to below 10 unused eyeshadow palettes in my collection. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you're interested, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content, palette themed content, or just chit chatting about makeup, I'd love for you to consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Alright you guys, as mentioned in the introduction, I only have 15 palettes to share that are currently unused in my collection. So I'm going to breeze through those super quickly, and then we will get into the palette bingo portion of this video. This will be the second time in 2 days that I'm doing my eyeshadow like last. Usually I always do my eyeshadow first, so it makes me a little bit stressed out, but that's okay. Okay, so I have 2 ColourPop palettes that are currently sitting unused in my collection. I have the Tinkerbell palette as well as the ColourPop The Child palette. And this is what Tink is looking like. I would be excited actually if that got rolled into the palette bingo. I've also never done a palette bingo, so I'm a little bit terrified, like I'm a little bit scared. And then I have ColourPop The Child right here as well, a really beautiful green palette. All right, I have 3 Melt Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes, and I swear in my head I've used all 3 of these. Like, I swear I have. Did I forget to mark these down? I'm not sure, but we're going with what the data says. So up first, I have the Melt Bad Side Zodiac Earth palette. This is what this one's looking like. This is a really beautiful palette, and this came into my collection at the end of last year, and I really enjoyed using that, so wouldn't be mad if that got rolled in. Also, the Melt Gemini palette. I probably should use this, seeing as, you know, some people's ends up molding and mine's getting quite old. I have no issues with the quality, but it sounds like I haven't used it in a year, so like maybe I will. And then I also have the Melt Rust palette, which I swear I've used this year, you guys, but Melt Rust also on the list. Then one of my favorite palettes from Glamlight I also haven't used this year. It's the Glamlight Chocolate Martini palette. I think this is such a beautiful palette, so it makes me so sad that it's unused. I also have this little NARS 6-pan palette. It's the NARS Suede palette. I purchased this last year because I was traveling once a month for work, and this was just like the epitome of like perfection in like something really small that I could bring with me that just like worked for that situation. But I left that job and I have really not used this palette since. I also have the Lawless The Glam One eyeshadow palette, which looks like this. I feel like maybe I just have a bad taste in my mouth after using the Lawless The Lavender One palette this year, but that's still sitting unused. Dose of Color Sassy Siennas. I told you guys in my palette collection and declutter video that if I have not used this palette, when I do my next palette and collection declutter video, like this just needs to get decluttered, because I say I like this palette so much, but then I never reach for it. I also have one of my favorites from Pat McGrath, my favorite quads at least, which I swear in my head I've also used this. It's the Pat McGrath Interstellar Icon quad. So beautiful. I actually included this in my January palette like inspiration video, which I posted yesterday, where I essentially picked out 12 eyeshadow palettes that I really want to focus on and use in January. So if that doesn't get rolled into palette bingo, it better get some use in January. This one also kind of surprises me. Too Faced Pumpkin Spice. I feel like I'm really good about reaching for this in the fall time, but alas, I did not. Sydney Grace Tiny Marbles is a palette I feel like I do that thing with where I feel like I have to save this for special occasions, and that's just so sad because this is such a beautiful palette. There are so many fun special shades in here. The metallics are so foiled and beautiful on the eyes. I also love like the lavender matte as well as this green matte right here. It's a shame that this has not gotten use. I also have one from NARS, another one actually, because I had that little 6-pan, but I have my NARS Summer Unrated palette. I think the reason I didn't reach for this year is because all NARS palettes, for the most part, kind of look the same. I really want the newest release from NARS, but it looks so beautiful. I'm like, it looks the same, but it doesn't. That's me trying to justify a purchase. It has pink checkered on the cover, and if you know, you know how much I love checkered things. I actually am wearing checkered. I'm wearing my Vans. How cute is that sock to shoe ratio? That palette will eventually make it to my collection. Like, I literally just can't. It's the packaging. And it also, like, the shades look beautiful. I love NARS too. Anyway, what I was getting at, I think the reason I didn't reach for this palette is because it looks quite similar to NARS Summer Solstice as well as the NARS Orgasm Rising palette. And I was focused on NARS Orgasm Rising in my brief period of time this year where I did the Project Level Up. So I think that's why that one's not gotten use. I also have my Natasha Denona Lila palette, which rolled into my no pan left behind this year, and then I rolled it out because seasonally I wasn't feeling it. It rolled in like the spring summertime, and I was like, I'm gonna pull it back out in the fall and then I'll no pan left behind it. Didn't do that. In fact, I haven't even reached for it yet this year. And then finally I have the Kaleidos Futurism 3 Astro Pink palette. I just don't feel inspired to reach for this, but I can't get myself to declutter it either. So those are the 15 palettes currently in my collection that have not gotten used. I'm pulling up my spreadsheet now. I have these listed 1 to 15, which I will scoot over and post that list over here. And we're gonna start with 5 eyeshadows and see how that goes. I'm really scared, you guys, because I just like feel like I'm not like creatively, like a palette bingo I do not feel like is my thing. But I'm also excited to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the random number generator and I'm gonna randomly generate 5 numbers between 1 and 15. So we get number 2, which is ColourPop the Child. All right, so we have ColourPop the Child, and then once I have my 5 palettes, I will then open each palette and count the number of shades, and then we'll randomly pick the shades. But okay, ColourPop the Child, first one. Then we have number 4, which is Glamlight Chocolate Martini. Okay, I'm happy about both of these so far. Here is Chocolate Martini. All right, next up we get number 13. Oh, okay. Pat McGrath Interstellar Icon Quad. I'm very happy about that. Then we have number 8, Melt Rust. Okay, I feel like this might not be the hardest thing in the world. There's Melt Rust. We'll see though. We'll see what numbers get actually randomly generated. And then, okay. Then we have one more. Number 10. NARS Summer Unrated. Okay, I feel like the most colorful of these is the Child palette. Okay, now let's randomly generate our color story, and then we'll see where we're at and see if maybe we want to add a 6th shade. Maybe we'll start a look and see like how we're feeling. I'm filming this on Christmas Eve. It's Vikings game day today. Fingers crossed as we always do as Vikings fans on this channel, but we played the Lions today. I don't want to do like a totally blue look, but we're definitely not going to be purple for the Vikings today. Okay, first up we have ColourPop the Child, which is 9 total shades. So we will randomly generate a number between 1 through 9. Number 9. Okay, we get the dark brown, which by the way I'm going to count left to right. Okay, so we have the dark brown to begin. I feel like I should maybe pull a couple of wipes out here. All right, we're starting off so easy because this was definitely the most colorful of the palettes, and we literally get like the brown. Okay, next up we have Glamlight Chocolate Martini. And this has, is it 12? 1, 2, 4, 5, 15. Okay, we get number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is the shade Livin' Lavish. This will definitely easily go with that dark brown. Okay, this is really going quite easy on me so far. Then what did we have? Okay, then we have Pat McGrath Interstellar Icon. And truly the worst that could happen here, and by worst, it's really not that big of a deal, but blue is like the most color I feel like we could get in this entire thing. Oops. Okay. We get number 3. Oh, okay, interesting. So we have 1, 2, and 3. We have, I feel like this will go really well with that brown, but we're looking like we got some deep shades here. Okay, then we rolled in, was it Melt Rust next? Yes, okay. Then we have Melt Rust, which has, I believe, 12 shades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 10. All right, we get number 10. No. Okay, that's the shade Rot, which is the dark brown, which, because we already have a dark brown, I'm gonna re-roll. We get number 8, which is also a dark brown. Okay, I'm gonna re-roll again. Number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we'll go with this. Clearly it wants another matte brown. This is what we're looking like. So much fun. Then we have NARS Summer Unrated, which has 16 shades. This glitter has basically all but chunked out, but I feel like I could still get a little bit out of that. So we'll go 1 to 16. And we get number 1. Oh, also a matte. Okay, interesting. Definitely will help with like transitions. Okay, there is that shade right there. I definitely feel like we can pull in another shade because I can already like, we're gonna pull another shade in, another palette. All right, 1 to 15, pulling a 6th palette in. We get number 15, which is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. This one has colorful, like has some color to offer us. Give us something. Okay, 16. I'm gonna go 18 minus 2. We get, oh my gosh, another matte. Okay. This is the color story currently with the 6. I think maybe we'll start here, and then depending on what we come up with, potentially I will roll a 6th palette. We'll see. I'm gonna start this look. I actually lately have been like liking to like start dark and then like work my way up rather than like start with my like transition lightest shade and work my way down. So I'm gonna start with, hopefully I can remember all these. I'm gonna start with ColourPop The Child, and I'm gonna go in with just a little, this is a Morphe 506, just a little brush, and I'm gonna just start, I forget, I don't want to get all this fallout. I'm just gonna start by adding that to the outer third of my eye. We're just gonna jump right on in. That's already looking like regret. Ugh. I like to do my eyes first because then I feel like I can like clean up the edges, which I probably still could, but I'm just like, oh, I just feel, oh, I'm gonna turn my fan off. Okay, hopefully the heat turned off and you can't hear that rumbling in the background anymore. I don't know, I just get like so, I feel like when I do my eyes first, it just allows me to more easily be able to like clean up things. And I feel like my eye shape is not the same between eyes. I struggle. Okay, I have just a little bit of that on the outer third. I'm then gonna go on with the shade from the Rust palette, which is in the shade Rust, actually, the shade right here. And I'm gonna take that on the same brush that I just used. And I'm just going to take this in a little further. But because the shade Rust is just a little bit lighter, that's the shade that I'm going to take in just a little bit farther. Already I'm feeling like, oh, I don't know. Might end up being much deeper than I thought. Oh my goodness. I wiped foundation off my nose. Okay, I'm next gonna take this shade out of the NARS Summer Unrated palette, and using a little bit larger of a brush, this is the EO2 from Singe, I am going to start just like buffing this and hopefully blowing it up a little bit. Okay, I actually think I want to use a different brush. I'm going in with this one from Luxie. It's the 231, just because I feel like this will blow out the look a little bit more. Okay, so far so good. Pretty simple, pretty easy, just like a deeper brown look so far. I think, what do I want to do next? Okay, I think next I'm gonna lay down actually a glitter glue. Okay, I just laid down a glitter glue, and then I'm gonna take this shade out of the Pat McGrath Interstellar Icon Quad, and just trying to think here. I'm gonna take this on the outer third of my eye, and actually I'm gonna kind of bring that in. It's gonna be, ooh, whoa, lighting. It's gonna be deep or deeper. Okay, and this might be cheating, you guys, but to get use out of a 7th palette, I'm gonna pick the shade because I have I have something in mind. I'm gonna go into my Natasha Denona Lila palette, which is also an unused palette for the year, and I'm gonna take this shade right here on the rest of the lid. And I'm just using my pinky for that. I think that this will be so beautiful with what we have going on top here. Yes, I actually really like that. Okay, I am loving that. I just feel like this eye always looks more lifted than this eye. Anyway, I know technically this is cheating a little bit because I picked this shade, but I am going to just toss that swatch onto my hand so we can see at the end just all the shades that we used. But I think that's gonna be it for the upper part of the lid. And then I'm gonna go in with, I'm gonna start actually by going in with, where's my mauve shade? What palette did that, oh, the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. With the shade Love You a Latte, I'm gonna take this on the lower lash line. I think this is gonna be so pretty on the lower lash. And you know what I just realized, you guys? This is actually like, it's not like Vikings purple, but I mean, this is a purple look for Vikings game day. It was meant to be. Okay, there's that on the lower lash. I am gonna put on just a brown, do I have it in my drawer? I'm just gonna go in with my Ilia eyeliner in the dark brown shade. Okay, and I just put that on my lower lash line, and then to wrap up the look, I'm gonna go in with this shade out of the Glamlight Chocolate Martini palette, and I'm gonna put that on the like inner third of my lower lash line, so the shade Live and Lavish right here. We are just gonna put on the lower lash line just like that. Would I prefer this look without the shade Live and Lavish? A little bit more, probably, but that's okay. For our first palette bingo, I am feeling quite successful in this. Definitely not like the most exciting look of life, but it definitely works. Okay, for the inner corner, I'm just going in with my highlighter, like the inner corner. And again, in palette bingo world, I don't know if that counts as cheating or not. But there we go. Okay, that was just super quick, simple, fast, and easy. I'm gonna go add lashes, or not lashes, I'm gonna go do my mascara, and I'll be right back, you guys. That was just so fun and so easy. All right, you guys, mascara is on. This is the final look. I'm like, I should look. I feel like this was too easy. I love the way that this look turned out. Like I said, if I had it my way, I probably wouldn't have done like the orangey shade underneath, but it works. And I feel like this is such a fun, I really like this look. Very neutral, but also is like giving me like kind of like the winter sultry vibes, and that it's like a little bit like purple toned. I really love the way that this look turned out. This worked so well. We ended up using 7 palettes as well, which will bring my unused palette total down to 8 palettes. And technically I still have 7 days left in the year of 2020, I almost said 2023. It's possible I might enter next year with no unused palettes in my collection. I had so much fun doing this. Let me know if you'd like to see more palette bingos from me in the future. Maybe we'll try and do one every month or every other month. I'm sure it won't always be this good to me, but for our first palette bingo, I'm very pleased with the way that this look turned out. But that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope that when this video goes up, it'll be Christmas, and I forgot to wish everyone a Merry Christmas who celebrates. So I hope that you are having a very Merry Christmas if you are watching this on Christmas Day and celebrate. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye.